Hey guys, Tommy, Modern Canine Solutions. I am here with our general manager, Danielle, and we're going to talk some dogs. So you're the new general manager. You've been with us for how long?
I think going on the fourth month, maybe.
Almost 4 months.
Yeah.
And prior to that, you were a client. So
yes.
How was that?
Awesome. Didn't realize that I was actually going to be this into hanging out and training dogs as I was.
Yeah.
And
You got hooked.
I
quick.
definitely got hooked. Yes. Obsessive hooked.
So what brought you to Modern Canine as a client?
Honestly, the first phone call before I got Ryker, I was calling different facilities in the general area. I had talked to 3 prior to you, and the first question out of my mouth each time I called was, do you have any experience with Malinois?
Right.
And when I called you, you were so nonchalant, and we're like, yeah, I have one.
Did I do the sales call for that one?
Yeah, you were the one that answered the phone. And what tipped me off mostly was when I had called and I had asked, you started giving me tips right off the bat.
Yeah.
It was not just like a come in order to, get any type of knowledge. It was, when you get this dog, start with this.
Right.
And it was,
I wasn't
awesome.
gatekeeping anything.
You were not gatekeeping anything. And so I decided, okay, I'm going to try this. And that's when I started group. And then I learned about protection. And then it just rolled downhill, and I was there every other day.
3-4 days a week, just
Yes.
working your dog. And then we went from, so that was like a year and a half almost?
That was last April, yes.
So to having a sit-down conversation of, learning a little bit more about you, your past as far as being part of a big startup and, the management side of a business and
Yes.
things like that, which we were lacking. To basically saying, hey, like, obviously you like us because you've been dealing with us for a year.
Yeah, absolutely.
You like what we do as far as your dog goes. Mm-hmm. And, we like what it sounds like your ability is and everything like that. What would it take for you to come on as, our manager, general manager, or some kind of a staff to help us bring us to the next level?
Right.
After we had that 4-hour conversation that
Yes.
Saturday that was not expected.
Nope.
So transitioning from client to now management position within the company, how's that feel?
It feels great. Honestly, I work every day, but I don't feel like I'm working every day.
Yeah.
It is a positive atmosphere. It's fun. There's always something going on, and there's always a new challenge, and I'm constantly still learning. And I'm, my confidence with dogs, any type of dog, has grown astronomically. And it's been a phenomenal experience, and I couldn't ask for a better job, honestly. It's fun, and you guys are fantastic.
Well, and it's cool too seeing your progress, right? Because knowing Danielle last year when she had Ryker that was this freaking big and just laid on the ground during protection, to having the dog that you have now who can be a monster, and watching your abilities, because that's really what's super cool. Like, he's a Malinois. He's going to do what he needs to do.
Yes.
Right? But watching your ability as a handler, and then now transitioning that ability as a handler to helping the trainers problem solve, helping clients problem solve, has been awesome to observe. Like, that's been a huge shift.
It's been a lot, and it's crazy. And like, you guys give me a lot of the confidence because obviously, I didn't go to school. I didn't do any of that. I just put my feet to the ground and was like, okay. And I was adamant. I wanted to learn. I wanted to do this myself.
Right.
And I was by far, of course, the most stubborn. It was, no, you're going to teach me. I'm going to teach my dog.
Yeah.
I want my hands on this dog. And I kept learning. And I found favorites in the dog world, like tracking and nose work. And, I like being able to help the trainers at, you know, the facility go, okay, let's think outside of the box. This
Right.
isn't working. Let's try a ball, or, you know, getting excited.
Because
you know,
you've seen, I mean,
all the
yes, you've
things.
been here for a year, right? Or, you know, as a client, and your dog's not an easy dog,
No.
right? So there was a lot of problem solving with Ryker to get him to where he
Absolutely.
is now. But he's also not your first dog. Like, you have 3 other dogs?
I have 3 other dominant breed dogs, yes.
Right. So having a dog like him is not your first rodeo.
No.
Having to deal with problem child dogs is not your first rodeo.
No.
Plus your problem children.
Yeah.
So, you know, you already kind of have an idea, maybe not to be able to explain to a client the way you can now.
Right.
You know, had you not gone through what you've gone through. But this isn't your first rodeo.
No.
Now you can just articulate a lot more of what is going on
Absolutely.
versus before.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, I've had, like, there's 2 other dogs in my house that are a lot more difficult socially, whether that be people or dogs, than Ryker ever will be. But I also haven't put the amount of hours into them like I
Right.
have Ryker, because of the opportunities that I have been provided as a client.
Right.
And now that I'm in the position that I'm, you know, in as
You have
the general,
everything at your disposal.
I have everything at the tip of my fingers, and I'm transitioning that into, you know, I have 4 dogs, 2 intact, all males
Right.
in my house, and it's a perfect pack. They get along, they have fun, it's a healthy relationship. It's fantastic. And I wouldn't be where I am now having the confidence to be like, okay, I know exactly what I need to do in this situation, and see it before it even happens.
Right.
Had I not had the last year and a half of experience to really broaden my knowledge on dogs in general.
And it's not just you, though. It's your
I'm-
husband, it's
my husband,
your
my
kids,
kids.
and having to manage
All of
all
it.
that while educating them, stop doing this or do this,
Yep.
and make that so they actually want to do it. So
Yeah, I
mean,
get them involved. You know, there's a relationship that needs to be built between my Anatolian and my oldest teenager.
Yeah.
And I flat out was like, okay, this is what we're doing from here on out. This is what needs to be done
Right.
to build that rapport, build that relationship, to fix things. He's not just a pet. Like,
Right.
he's a big dog.
Right.
But it's fantastic. I can teach them and teach my husband.
Yeah.
I've changed him from the old, you know, alpha theory, you know, crap that used to go on
Right.
and be thought about. Instead of, you know, I'm the big bad, you know, leader. It's no, I have respect and I earned that. And I teach my kids that. They know how to handle dogs. My daughter's phenomenal.
Yeah.
She's 13 and
she'll be a
leads-
future trainer for us.
Oh, absolutely. No, she works that pack at home like nobody's business. They're like, yes, ma'am, what are we doing? Absolutely. She's fearless, and that's definitely what she wants to do.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic that I'm able to bring that into my own home and have a happy home with 5 kids, a husband, and 4 dogs.
Right.
So, I mean, it's great.
And don't you have a cat in there too somewhere?
Yeah, I have. There's a few of them. I have a zoo at my house. 3 cats, 4 dogs, a turtle, and a gecko or something.
Man.
Yeah, busy.
So you mentioned, like, you know, we kind of niched down what you and Ryker started to enjoy and what was kind of like what your thing. Describe that process, right? So when you first came to us with Ryker as a puppy.
Oh yeah,
you
I was
know,
all over the place.
You didn't know what you
I
wanted
didn't
to.
know.
But we didn't also we didn't
Right.
guide you
No.
into one thing, right? We were like, okay, well, you want to try this, so let's
see.
see. Let's you know, oh, you want to do this week? Okay, let's see.
Let's see.
Right? Because
Absolutely.
it to me it doesn't matter, right? If it's something that I can teach, like, let's roll.
Right.
You know, but that also, like, a lot of places in my experience, they're gonna go, well, this is what we do, so we're gonna guide you this way.
Right.
You know, versus, hey, let's figure out what you enjoy, what your dog is gonna enjoy, and then make you guys a team doing that thing.
Yeah.
Is that what it felt like when you first came to us?
Yeah. So I'm an socially awkward person anyway.
That's why you keep, like, glancing at the camera.
Yeah, I'm so weird. But I was really nervous, and I'm a homebody, so I don't like to go out. I don't like to socialize. I was like, okay, like, this is what I want. When I'm bound and determined for something, you know, I'm on it.
Right.
It's gonna happen. So I started showing up, and then I started, like, seeing the reaction, seeing, you know, how everybody acted with each other. And I will never forget, and I'll tell people till this day, I was at a group class on a Saturday morning, and I'm trying to get Ryker to go into a down. And I obviously brand new at this, teaching a puppy, and here comes Kayla out of nowhere. Didn't have a clue who she was. And just,
because she probably wasn't wearing a shirt either.
Yeah, she wasn't. It was just out of nowhere. And she's like, no, do it like this. And I was like, first of all, like, where did you come from?
And who the fuck are you?
And who the hell are you? And she showed me that, and I spent the next week at home working circles with my dog, putting him into a down, and I got it. And I was like, yes, I still have no idea who that lady was, but this is awesome. And I would ask questions. I'm like, how do you do this? Okay, he's doing this now. I need to figure out how to do this.
Yeah.
Or I would see somebody, you know, do something, I don't know, like center, whatever. And I'm like, okay, let's figure this out. And I would spend the week doing all the work at home, driving my family crazy, because I was like, I'm bound and determined to figure this out. I want this really cool dog. I've wanted this all my life, and I finally have it. And then it was bite work. I have a Malinois. Obviously, he's made for this. They do bitey things. They do bitey things all the time.
Right.
I bring him in, and he's sleeping on the carpet.
literally to the entire, like, few hours
just
of protection.
Laid out. Everybody thinks he's broken. I'm confused. But the thing is that there were jokes cracked about how, is he a broken Malinois?
Right.
But immediately afterwards, it's okay. Yeah. We're going to figure it out. We can pull that out of him.
Right.
We'll get him there. And now he's a monster.
Yeah.
And it took a lot of time. And the thing about it
And he's not just a monster. He's a social.
Yes.
Like,
I can take him anywhere. I can
monster.
take him to my kid's baseball game. I can take him to fall festivals. He doesn't want to eat anybody.
Right.
He is,
because I feel like that's a big thing to point out, because I feel like when people think of my dog's a monster, they're dangerous, they're, you know, crazy, out of control, gonna eat everybody.
Nope.
Yes, he is a monster in bite work.
Yeah.
And if mom gives him the cue, it's game on, and whoever's in front of mom is gonna get demolished. But he's like Raider. He's the most social, lovey. He wants affection. He'll engage with you. Yeah. But if mom flips a switch, you better be outside that leash reach.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was incredible, like, because he wasn't like that in the first 7 months.
Right.
I couldn't even get him to bark.
Right.
And I was like, how am I going to do this? But the key about it was I never gave up. I was so bound and determined, like, I can do this. I can do this. And I was telling myself that every day. Right. And I kept coming to bite work on Tuesdays, and it was like repetitive. And I was doing all the things. And then somebody said something about, I cracked a joke about how he always has his nose to the ground.
Right.
I was like, this dude is obsessed with smelling everything. And somebody was like, well, why don't you try nose work? And I'm like, what?
Right.
What are you talking about? Like, he's not a hound. Like, this isn't a bloodhound.
Right.
He's a shepherd. And so I tried. I was like, all right, let's figure it out. Killed it.
Yeah.
Tracking.
Day one, he was on it.
Day one was on it. Like, yes, I figured out the game. He's so brilliant. It blows my mind. Sometimes I think he's too smart, and then sometimes I'm like, where's all the brain cells? You only have one today.
Smartest, dumbest dogs alive.
But that transitioned from tracking to
specific
odor detection. And he thrives, like absolutely thrives in it. And it's something that makes him the most happiest dog I see when he's doing this. The bite work honestly started out for fun because I wanted a protection dog, you know,
And he does it.
He does, and he does great. But at the end of the day, I wanted something for him more than just for me.
Right.
And that's what nose work is for him. It's the best game that he has. I mean, we'll play all types of games at home to find things to make him use his nose. We play hide and seek. He plays hide and seek with the kids.
Yeah.
And does all these things. I mean, the neighborhood kids will come over and they're like, oh, like, let's do all the cool things with, this awesome dog.
Right.
And he's so social, especially with kids.
Right.
He's the opposite. Like, would much rather hang out with a group of kids than adults any day of the week.
Right, for sure.
And he does phenomenal.
Right.
He's like, oh, we're going to do this? Okay, let's do it.
Right.
Like, it's fun.
So the cool thing about having you now on staff is that you're from both sides of the coin. So
Yes.
You've been a client, you're now an employee. Mm-hmm. For prospective clients, and we have the new lady, Liz with Adobe.
Yes.
She always says, oh, I ask questions. I ask too many questions.
Never.
Like, one, it bothers me that you feel like your questions don't matter, right? Mm-hmm. I hope, because we have a lot of those people now that ask questions. And maybe that's just because of a personal perspective, or maybe that's what they got grown up and were shut down for asking questions or whatever. Mm-hmm. Or maybe just my personality, because I can come off as an asshole sometimes. But, if you're not asking questions, you can't learn.
No. And like I said, as socially awkward as I am, I'm so huge on education and learning. As long as I'm learning something new every day, I'm perfectly content.
Yeah.
And I was bound and determined. And that is so important. Like, if you have this dog and you want to have him or her thrive, ask questions.
Right.
It's never a dumb question, because this is a dog. There's so much more to it than just sit, stay, lay down.
Right.
Well,
and you can go blindly through training and just do what your trainer tells you to do.
Absolutely.
But you're not going to get the optimal results.
Correct.
And potentially your trainer that you're dealing with could put you and your dog in a compromising position that could ruin your dog.
Yeah.
Which we've had a few dogs recently in the last year that we've had either go through workshops, done with,
Mm-hmm.
former employees that we're having to fix, whatever. So ultimately, like, if you're not asking the right question, or I guess not even the right question, but you're not asking questions like, why are we doing this? What is this going to do? What is the plan?
How does this work?
Why does this work?
Yep.
Is this actually safe? Or
Right.
questions are huge, besides just, well, I want my dog to do this, so how do I do that?
Correct.
You got to get deeper than just the surface shit.
You really do, especially when it comes to a dog, because there's so many opportunities that are missed because people sit there in silence because they feel uncomfortable
Right.
speaking to another human being
Right.
about something. And that's why we ask multiple times, do you have any questions?
Right.
Like, please, I tell people all the time before they come and to do the go home lessons, where we teach them how to do everything we've been doing and why it works. I want you to spend the entire time, have a list, start writing questions down,
Right.
bring it with you at the go home.
So good. Yeah.
So you can, you have it all right there just in case you forget something.
And you will, because, and I don't know other companies' go homes, because I've worked for other companies, but
Right.
From my experience talking with clients, most go home lessons are an hour.
Okay.
Ours are between 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Right. So
We had one today that was pushing 3 hours.
yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously the more behavior we're dealing with, the longer the lesson's going to be.
Right.
So, but with that being said, like when you're coming to pick up your dog after a 2, 3, 4 week stay and train, you're going to be so excited when you walk in that door.
You're going to forget.
You're not going to remember anything. It's hard enough to keep that person's attention while doing the academic portion. When they're just like, they hear their dog in the kennel barking.
Yeah.
And like, oh, that's my dog. And I'm like, nope, we're right here. Look, focus.
Focus on me.
Right. I'm right here. And, and I've tried that. Okay, we'll bring the dog out. We'll make the dog lay down. We'll have the academic. But inevitably, the dog loses his shit. The people are like, ah.
I know.
So, our lessons are pretty in depth because our training is in depth. Like, we want you to have the best dog possible.
Yep.
So ask the questions and ask the hard questions.
Yeah.
You know, like stop with the surface crap. Like that's all easy stuff. But, you know, how is this going to affect my relationship with my dog? You know, what things am I going to have to do now that's different before my dog came to training and then going home with my dog now? You know, there's just a lot that goes into it, which is also why we do a follow-up, you know, because there's a lot. Realistically, only 10% of what we cover in that lesson is going to get retained anyway.
Exactly. And the dog goes home, the owners forget half of the things that we have said.
Right. Especially when that dog comes out and they're so excited.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I mean, that's another reason we make them, or we have them, you know, work the dogs.
Right.
We show them how to work the dogs and then have them work the dogs themselves. Whether, you know, especially if it's like, you know, aggression cases or whatever, they're a problematic dog, a behavioral issue. We're going to put that dog to the test right in front of their owners, with their owners. Right. Having the hand on the leash, because we want to show that the progress has been made.
Well, it doesn't matter what we do with the dog. It really doesn't, because ultimately most dogs we're going to be able to handle.
Yeah, but it also adds confidence to the person.
Right, but if I can make a head, like Leo today, right?
Yes.
If I made Leo head up healing between the last 4 weeks he's been with us, and then I hand the leash over to mom and dad and say, yep, your dog head up heels, and he doesn't head up heel.
I'm not too worried about that part.
I'm just saying,
speaking like around dogs.
Right. That was an extreme example, but for me, like, it doesn't matter what I can do with a dog. I can take 99% of dogs' leashes and make that dog look like a rock star. But if I can't give that owner the leash and they can't make the foundation work, right, there's something that's not making sense. There's something that's not connecting.
That's why we have them do everything before they leave.
Correct.
Absolutely.
So, as a client coming in, like, what would your recommendations be for them as far as, you know, what questions to ask, what things should they be looking for? And then obviously, like you did when you first came to us, you shopped around, and you've also taken your other dog to other trainers before you met with us. So as someone that is in the industry now, as someone that's been with us for a while, as someone who's shopped around, as someone that has trained with another dog training company, what were big factors for you that you were looking for as far as selecting your next trainer that you're going to be involved in?
The biggest one is you guys didn't gatekeep any information. If I asked a question, I got the answer. I didn't even do a board and train with you guys, no matter how many times you guys had asked me, or actually didn't ask, told me you need to do a board and train. This is your first Malinois. Okay.
That wasn't why. It was to save you money.
Yeah. Well, I'm hands-on. Apparently, I just, wanted to waste all the money.
Yeah.
But you're right. I spent way more money training him.
And private lessons.
Group lessons, than I would have in a board and train.
Right.
He would have come out finished.
Right.
And,
well, not actually finished, but you would have the foundation to grow from, and then you would have the follow-on support that you wouldn't have had to pay for.
Right. At that time, he was a puppy. So you're right. He would have had the foundation, and I would have been able to continue that. But honestly, like I said, I'm going to stand on that hill the entire time. You guys never kept any information, especially with the fact that, I was always asking questions. I felt sometimes I was annoying. I'm not going to lie. And I was okay with it.
Right.
Asking questions, answering them. But like I said, it's not even about the breed of dog, because again, I've been to other trainers. I have staffies, and my boy was problematic.
Right.
And it was the fact that you guys care. You gave me the information I needed. You showed me how to do it. If I messed up, you were honest and said, hey, okay, great try. Let's do it like this. And you showed me how to do it.
Versus belittling or just taking
or
a leash
just
away from you.
Ignoring me.
Oh, that too, yeah.
Because the trainers in the past that I have personally used for my own dog aggressive behavior issues, it was like, give me the leash. I'm going to do it. Okay, that's not going to help me.
Right. I
know you can do it. I need to figure out how to do this. And then when I'm doing this, make sure I'm doing it the right way and don't just ignore me. And I had a lot of that issue. Had I not been watching so fiercely what these guys were doing, I wouldn't have learned anything.
Right.
And it was frustrating. It was so frustrating because, it was bad things happening in my house, and I was like, how do I stop this?
Right.
Well, now I have 2 dogs that get along phenomenally. They snuggle, and they clash like titans 5-6 years ago. So, I mean, it's possible. It
takes time.
It takes time, and it takes a lot of effort.
Right.
And had I not known what I know now, I would have just been okay with, a half-ass trainer.
Right.
To be honest. I mean, you don't get everything that I see that we provide. I mean, we give you deep educational information, a whole packet that breaks everything down on how dogs' brains actually work. Because that's meaningful. Like, you need to know, just the time span of markers and corrections and the meanings and the pressure and, like, all these things. And people don't understand that dogs are nothing like people.
Right.
They have their own way of learning, and 90% of it is things that people don't even realize, like body language.
Well, and we humanize dogs a lot.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
We gotta be careful we say. The freaking purely positives will cancel us.
Yeah, whatever.
So, but yeah, I mean, so that's all great information. I think the question things is huge because a lot of people are afraid to ask questions.
Ask questions. It's not.
Yeah.
But here's, I want this to be honest, because just like Leo today.
Yeah.
When you ask questions, expect very honest answers. Direct, honest answers.
We're not going to be around the bush about stuff.
No. I'm going to be honest and be like, look, if you don't do it this way, when you have a dog that you have, you're coming here for no reason.
Right.
So we give you these management tools.
So he wasn't not coming there for no reason. I feel like we gave him a foundation that the owner can actually work with.
Oh, absolutely.
Versus the owner trying to go through this world with that dog with no compass and having because
they left confident.
Yeah,
and happy.
We all said throughout the entire process of him being here was great dog, snuggle bug.
He's so cute.
He is dog reactive. He's not going to pursue a dog if you can control him.
Oh, he's easily manageable.
But you have to have the foundation of communication to do that. So,
and that's what we spent a lot of time on today.
And that's what mom and the family were missing.
Yes.
Not to mention letting their other dog amp Leo up.
Yeah.
So that'll be the next portion is, figuring out how the two of them are going to now coexist on their walks.
And that's also a bonus because we talked about that. They actually made the statement sitting there. We can take what we've learned today and apply it to our other dog.
Within reason, yes.
Within reason, and make it a little bit more manageable.
Yeah.
And they were super excited about that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I tell people all the time, like, we get dogs all the time, we'll have 2 or 3 dogs from the same family come in for, double and triple boarding trains.
Yep.
But then we also have people that can't budget that because we're not the cheapest guys in town. We're also not the most expensive.
Right.
But the reality is the way we train and the system that we've implemented, you can literally take that from dog A and put it to dog B.
Yep.
Now, don't get me wrong. There are going to be nuances that you're going to have to tweak and adjust and do things. But the general foundation,
absolutely,
we're going to teach you everything to make you a dog trainer for your dog.
Yep.
So, and we're not gatekeepers. We're not trying to hide anything from anybody.
No. And that's what's good. That's what being a client was about for me. Right there is I was at every group on Saturday. Even the tidbits that I was learning at Bite Night, the cool little things that I was learning during nose work.
Right.
Every other day I was picking up things and able to turn around and take that and place it in my house. And I was getting better and better and better. And I went from just a pet owner to a actually working dog handler.
Right.
To now I'm the GM and I'm like, okay.
And now we're potentially going to put you on a contract to go sniff out churches.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, he's an incredible dog, and I can't wait to do it again.
Right.
Like, I'm.
And the next one will be better.
Yep.
And then the next one will be better. And
Yep.
it just, ideally.
Ideally. But now I feel even more confident to have my next dog and be like, all right, let's go. Like,
Right.
I'm still going to mess stuff up.
Everybody does.
Everybody does. I'm human.
Right. Just like me and Mouse. I let Mouse jump on everybody, and that's my fault because I like getting snuggles from my dog.
Gotta be ready to catch him. But I'm okay with that, though, because Ryker does it. He, at home, he comes barreling out of his kennel.
Right.
I allow it to happen.
Yeah.
He jumps in my arms. He's 55 pounds.
Right.
Whatever. Now I'm going to let my, other dogs do that? No.
Well, your other dogs are quite a bit bigger.
Yeah, just a little bit. But, there are things that I allow that others probably wouldn't allow.
Right.
But he's also the dog that when it's time to go to work, it's time to put the work in.
Yeah.
When it's time to go home, he's a pet.
Yeah.
He can hang around with the other dogs. He can snuggle on the couch
He's like the
with the
perfect
kids.
definition of your working pet.
Yes, he really is. He turns it off when he's at home, and he can lie on the couch or on the floor next to the kids.
Right.
Hell,
I'm his favorite chew toy, and he still comes up to me and lets me play with him.
The girls at work are just like, oh my gosh,
Right.
let me love you.
So, since you've come on a couple months ago,
Yeah.
we liquidated the last staff. Now we have a new staff. And so you've experienced the culture of the company prior to this new group.
Yes.
How has that shift been?
So originally, I'm not gonna lie, I was uncomfortable because you have to understand, I was hanging out with these guys on a regular basis.
Right.
And then I started watching things happen to my own personal dog, and
Right.
I was getting frustrated.
Right.
And I was not understanding why. Like, how do I fix this? What do I do?
Right.
And then things were happening. And I'm the type of person in my work environment, it is positive.
Yeah.
I want everybody to get along.
Yeah.
If you have an issue,
Let's talk.
if you have an issue with, so-and-so, your coworker, bring it to me.
Right.
Let's talk about it. Let's figure it out and, fix it.
Right.
Like, there's no, talking in the corner
Right.
and creating drama or whatever the case may be. So I want everybody to be involved. Everybody to have a positive relationship and build off of that. Learn from each other. This is not a competition.
No. Your only
At
person you're in
all.
competition with is yourself.
Exactly. Thrive to do better for yourself. Don't thrive to do better than somebody else because what they're doing doesn't matter.
Right.
Unless you're learning from them, don't worry about it.
Right.
And that's the difference. Previously it was, this little clique. And it was weird and awkward and got creepy almost at the end because I was just like, no, I don't even want to be here.
Right.
There's too much going on. Now you walk in and it's friendly,
Yeah.
it's fun.
It almost feels like the place is brighter.
It is. It's a lot brighter. The parking lot, even Adam came in today and was
Right.
like, I don't think I ever see the parking lot this busy. And I'm
Right.
like, this is all the time. There's people here all the time
Yeah.
now.
Whether it's staff, clients, walk-ins, whatever. There's
Walk-ins,
always somebody coming in the building.
There's always somebody coming into the building. And every time somebody's coming into the building, even if we're in the back and we hear the doorbell, we're walking right up front
Right.
like, hey, how you doing?
And I've with conversations with the clients, I've also over the last couple months have heard multiple times, we love the staff, this is a happy place. We like to come here.
Yeah.
And that honestly, most of it comes from you because you're the ringleader of the freaking cat mob down there.
I strive very, very much for a positive environment. And the team will tell you the moment I notice something is off, I'm pulling somebody aside and going,
Right.
hey, how you doing?
Right.
Like, what's up? Like, talk to me. Let's see if we can talk this through and figure it out.
Right.
And then other times I'm like, all right, leave it at the door.
Right.
I'm big on that. I'll even do that with the dogs. Somebody's having a hard time because we're human.
Right. For sure.
Hey, look, I'll go grab the dog. Don't worry about it. Like, I'll work the dog myself. You take your 10, 15 minutes, whatever you need. I got you. We're a team.
Right.
Just because I'm, I have this title doesn't mean that I'm better than anybody else. And I don't ever want the girls, or the team, the staff, to feel that way. Right. And that's what is so important to them.
It's a team. And it's always been a team.
It's always a team.
I feel like that's what Kayla and I, have strived for this business for so long. But unfortunately, when you have one sour apple and it bleeds over to everybody else, there's only so much you can do.
Right.
But it was a great learning point for us, because then we got to work with you, and then we spent a month or 2 months building out SOPs, which I think that putting those things in place have also contributed to the way the staff is and the community that we've built and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we walk in, we know what we're doing.
Right.
We know what our plan is for the day. We'll sit down and communicate, what dogs are going to who. And then what gets me, and I love it the most, is that they'll create their lists for the dogs that day, and then they'll rotate.
Yeah.
They're like, all right, here you go. They're not going to be you're stuck on one dog.
Right.
And they're going for the challenging things.
Yeah.
And as interns, some of them being interns, they're like, yeah, no, I want to learn. I want to see how, I want to get my hands on this dog.
They're pushing their boundaries.
They're pushing their boundaries to learn. And they never have an issue with coming to me and going, hey,
right.
How would you handle this? Or can you help me? Whatever the case may be. And it cracks me up because they're so vibrant about all the situations, and it's never depressing remarks about a dog. It's okay, so this dog has this going on, how do we fix it?
Right. Versus this stupid dog.
I
don't want to deal with this dog.
Right.
Which you hear a lot.
And they've gotten bit.
Yeah.
I mean, the reality is, as a dog trainer, it's going to happen, especially when they're fresh.
Right.
And these girls are like, all right, I just got bit. This is what happened. Like, we're going to talk through it.
And they hold no ill will towards the dog about it.
Oh, no. No, I just yesterday when we got a new one coming in, he's only been here for a few days. He got all amped up because of the other dogs and bit one of the trainers while she was taking him outside. She took him outside after he bit her and snuggled with him.
Right. Yeah.
She knew the boundary of, okay, we're out of that particular situation. You're calmed down now. It wasn't like you wanted to eat me. Let's, they love these dogs.
Yeah. Most aggression like that isn't true aggression.
No, not at all.
But it was super cool today though, because Cam being the newest did probably with that particular client and dog was a very difficult go home lesson. And
I chose her for a reason though.
To see her get so emotional about the way that it all came together and to see the fruits of her labor with that dog was awesome.
Yep.
So I was really, really happy about that.
That's something that we were talking about this yesterday. Planning who was doing what go home today.
Because there's like 3 today.
There's a few of them. And Leo in particular has been here the longest, with, coming in for everything that he came in for. And she, as a owner and a client herself, a previous client herself, had the most, connection to the whole situation because of her dog.
Right.
And I was like, she asked, she's like, who's doing Leo's go home? I was like, who has the aggressive dog of their own? And she goes, she raised her hand. She's like, me? I was like, well, I'm glad you volunteered. And she was super nervous, but she was so excited because she was like, yeah, no, I've got this. Yeah. Like, I have my own dog that has dog issues.
Right.
Like, I got this.
She's literally lived through their
emotions.
Everything.
Traumatizing situations. Right. Not knowing what to do next.
Right. Which is super cool because, like, not only have you been a client, now general manager, she was a client turned trainer. And having that as a,
it's incredible
to talk to people because now you're like, you're better than a 5-star review on Google because you've lived it.
I did. And I loved it so much that I was totally okay with uprooting my entire, working history of like 15, 20 years of
To come play with dogs.
Every day. And it was awesome.
Yeah.
You know, I was this big CEO or COO. I did all these things, you know, and I got out of all of that.
Right.
And because it was toxic,
Right.
by the way, extremely toxic, and I decided, okay, let's do this. My entire family was like, you'd be stupid not to.
Right.
Like, dogs are your whole life. Like, let's do this. And I was like, okay. And I did. And I had no problem, no nerves, no nothing. I wasn't worried about anything. You and Kayla are phenomenal people. And don't let anybody ever tell you guys any different. Because honestly, like I said, none of us would be here if it wasn't for you guys. And it's been awesome.
Yeah.
The amount of stuff that we've learned and the amount of things and, you know, education and knowledge that we can, you know, give clients.
Right.
We have a blast all day, every day. We
Yeah.
had a private lesson come in today, and the girls were like, so who's doing it?
Flip a coin.
And they got excited about the go home lessons. They're like, oh man, you know, so-and-so is leaving today. But it's fun because they know that the parents are coming back.
Right.
Well,
we hope. We can't force people to come back.
No.
But more often than not.
But majority of the
with follow-ups
time,
and
these
stuff.
guys are like, yes,
Yeah.
let's come back. Let's keep working. And that's a positive. That's
Yeah.
huge. Like, you already show that you love your dog and you care because
Right.
you want to help your dog with whatever's going on, whether it's a puppy
Right.
and you just want a foundation, or there's, you know, this behavioral issue.
Right.
And it's so nice to be like, oh, I have these options, because we're the only ones that are like, oh, okay, so you just, you know, your dog was here for 3 weeks. We're not cutting ties.
Right.
You have, like, you're stuck with us.
But that's so, unfortunately, most dog training companies out there, you go out, you pay your $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 for a board and train. They spend 30, 40, 50 minutes with you, and then, okay, good luck.
Right. That's
And when you as a client get stuck or whatever, now you have to go find another trainer.
Yeah.
And then do it again.
Yep.
Because most trainers do this.
And fork out more money.
And then finally you call me one day and I'm like, oh yeah, had you called me 2 years ago when you started training your dog, this would all be free.
Yep.
And people get pissed.
Yes, they get so mad. And that was a conversation today. They're like, man, I wish we, you know, would have brought him years ago. And, well, now you have us,
Right.
you know. I mean, he's 9 now,
Right.
but you still have us.
Right.
And we're going to be here.
Well, and that's the cool thing is that a lot of our clients that have older dogs that we train, when they get their puppies,
They're bringing them
they
back.
come back immediately with that
Absolutely.
puppy. And we get these 10, 11-week-old puppies that we grow, and we did it with you, and you know we go through the whole journey
whole
with the
thing.
dog. It's so much fun.
And they turn out incredible.
Yeah.
Because they understand what the expectation is.
Right.
You know, a dog living in a human world is not easy.
No,
You know, we're kind
I
of...
couldn't imagine being a human living in a dog world.
No way. Okay. I'll never forget when I learned during nose work or about, like, specifically about body language.
Yeah.
And how important it was for a dog.
Yeah.
And I turned to the trainer and I looked at him and he was like, it's just body language. I was like, says the professional dog trainer. And I was like, I'll never get this.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it just started clicking.
Yeah.
Like week after week. And I was like, oh, and it brought me so close to Ryker. Now it doesn't
Yeah.
matter what that dog does. I know
Everything.
everything.
Yeah.
And I can speak his language now
Right.
because I look at him and I'm like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And people are like, what's wrong? He's not doing it. I'm like, yeah, no, he's thinking. Like, I can see it. You might, you know, let's not. I just took him off the bite. The bite. So
Right.
why don't you just,
Give me a minute.
Give me a minute. Let me go over here. He's being a little weird. And it's fantastic. And even with my other dogs at home,
Yeah.
because it's all the same. Dogs' body language is literally just the same across the board. But it's fantastic. And watching the girls, at work learn these things and the team, and then not just our trainers.
Right.
We're, the kennel techs,
Right.
the groomer, like everybody gets an opportunity to learn.
Right.
It's not just, we're dog trainers. No, you're a dog trainer and you're also going to help clean the kennels.
And that was one of the big things for me from day one, which, I've had multiple trainers. They come to me and they're like, I want to work for you. I'm like, okay, well, you have to be willing to clean kennels. They go, well, I'm a trainer, not a kennel tech. I'm like, well, then you're not going to work for me.
Then you're not a trainer.
Right.
Because trainers care about the dog's well-being, and this is a team effort.
So my problem with it is, it goes deeper than that, is, I harp on kennel manners a lot because whatever happens in the kennel is going to leak.
It's going to feed out.
Everywhere else.
Yep.
That's just like however you let your dog be in the home is how your dog's going to leak out in public.
Yep. And that was the start of yesterday.
And if we're just having kennel techs in the kennel, they're not going to control anything. They're just going to go through, pick up shit and go.
Yep.
And clean and do what they need to do.
And they know how to provide door manners. They, walking the dogs, taking them potty, making them sit at the doors.
It makes the kennel less stressful.
Oh,
the kennel's quieter.
Yep. Everybody's stress-free. Everybody's good.
Right.
Even the new dogs coming in, they learn within a day or two. Like,
right.
oh, this is the expectation. Okay, this is what I got to do. And it's phenomenal.
Right.
And it's across the board.
Right.
Our groomer, I mean, she's not a trainer. She deals with the dogs that want to come in and get baths and
be all pretty.
And be all pretty. And yet when she has time, she'll grab a dog and take them for a walk. And she does the same thing. Yeah. She door manners. She has expectations.
She's not training the dogs per se, but she's helping manage
the expectations.
The expectation when she's walking dogs that the trainers are teaching.
We're all on the same page, and nobody is better than anybody.
Right.
And we all help each other. Right. And just like today, for example, an accident happened with one of the dogs, and one of the trainers was like, hey, I'm going to go grab him so the other trainer, could clean out the kennel run. Right. And it was a no big deal. They were just like, hey, it's going to be a minute before we're back out here with other dogs. I just wanted to let you know that this is what we're doing, taking care of, the dogs in the back. And I'm like, cool. Right. All right. Sounds good. Thanks. It happens every day. All day. Yeah. The dogs are always taken care of.
No, it's the team dynamic is awesome. And it's crazy because unless you're a one-off dog trainer, you don't see that. No. I've done walkthroughs of other kennels and big boxes, and I've worked across the country in different kennels, and it's always segregated. You have your peon kennel techs, which we don't do that way. No. You have your trainers, and then you have all your subsidiary, like your groomers and, your bathers or your walkers, and then you have your management staff. Everybody's kind of segregated off of their own thing.
It's always little cliques.
Right. And we're a team. Like, everyone is doing it together.
Yeah, my one of the kennel techs could literally come into a trainer and be like, hey, I need your help with this. Can you come help me? And the trainer's going to be like, yeah, absolutely. What are we doing?
Right. And the opposite, too.
Or, hey, I don't know how to do this. And it goes the opposite. A trainer can grab a kennel tech and be like, hey, can you help me out with this real quick? Right. And it's not a problem because we all get along. Right. I mean, even if a kennel tech, will come to me and be like, hey, I need to get this done. Can you help me? Right. Hey, I'm dealing with this right now. Can you go wash the dishes? Absolutely. Yeah. You're handling this. I got the dishes. And that's how we're all respectful of each other and all a team. And
it's awesome. Like,
it's so much fun.
It's from going from where I've been to where we're at now and seeing what we've created over just the last 4 or 5 months.
I love the team. Yeah.
Is awesome. Fun. And, I wouldn't trade it for anybody. I'd like to bring on some more. Yeah. But that also gets tricky because we don't want to bring in a bad apple that causes a toxic community within the staff, which I don't think would happen.
Nah. I'm not too worried about that. We're so open and honest with each other and get along so well that if that was to happen, the team would be like, hey, man.
You're going to get chopped off right now.
This isn't cool. Like, you got to go. Yeah. Like, you're bringing us down. Right. And they love coming to work. Right. Like,
You have to kick them out of the building.
I do. I have to tell them to clock off and go home,
Right.
or at least clock out,
Right.
because they'll clock out and then they'll be working their dogs, and
Right.
which is awesome. But it's like, don't burn yourself out, man.
Right.
Don't live here.
Yeah.
But they do, and it's
Well, and it's cool, like when the families come together, like, you know, Zach will show up and hang out and,
Yep.
you know, bullshit. Same thing with, you know, Cam's boyfriend, fiance, Dylan guy. You know, and it's just
Brian coming in the other
Brian,
day,
yeah.
and you know, putting the new nozzle on the tub.
100%.
And, you know, he's in the kennel area, and all these dogs are like, what's going on? Who are you?
Who's
and
this
he's
string
literally
giant guy?
on the floor just just to help.
Yeah.
And, I mean, we love it. Like, I mean, we've jokingly, we're like, you know, maybe some of these rescues can hang out with their husbands that don't like the men and just kind of like, you know, use them. And, you know, we have all these ideas and it's hilarious. Now, would we ever, you know, put anybody in danger? Absolutely not. However, this is how close-knit we are.
Right. And it's, you know, bonfires and hanging out and just,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
You guys are awesome. Like,
building the community that we have, you know, the
Yeah.
culture that we have.
we always have fun.
So, no, I'm super impressed with who we have. And
I mean, just think about it. The whole entire staff loves when the owners come in.
Right.
We want you guys there.
Right.
And they're like, oh, Kayla's here. Oh, Tommy just got here.
which is a great feeling for us because, like I said, in the last
It's fun.
staff, I didn't want to come in the building. You know, I didn't want to go, and I'm paying the damn bills for the place.
I know.
You know, and now it's like I walk in, and yeah, I mean, we all joke and we say, you know, stupid crap to each other and stuff
all
like
the time.
that. But that's part of the fun of it,
Yeah.
and you know, we all know it's out of love and out of fun
Absolutely.
and everything like that. So, no, we have a blast, and I am blessed and happy with the team that we have, with you in position as the head of the team, and I think that we're gonna crush this in the rest of this year. I
It's
think
going to be phenomenal.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. Like, I've been excited since day one. Just making sure that, you know, piece by piece by piece, like every week it gets better.
Right.
Because there's more getting implemented. And it's awesome because I was super nervous because I came from the corporate world.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, I'm still learning
Yeah.
here. Like, I've got all the corporate stuff, but like dogs.
Yeah.
And you and Kayla have been phenomenal. And you're like, it's cool, man. We're gonna do this together and we're gonna figure it out. And we're gonna put the pieces together and it's gonna be an awesome puzzle.
Right.
It
might take a minute, but it's gonna be awesome.
And that felt a lot better because I was like, man, if I mess this up, I don't know what I'm gonna do. 'Cause this is where I train my dog. Like, but now, like, it's been a few months and I'm like, it's whatever. Like, it's fine.
Yeah.
We're gonna be fine.
100%.
It's so much fun, and it's like the wheel has gotten real greasy. It's rolling perfectly. All the pieces are working so well, and every time I add something or a challenge, or you come in and you're like, I got a new challenge. Now the girls are like, what's the challenge for August? Like, what are we doing? Like, let's do something fun.
We need to get a picture of Cam and put it up on Facebook that she won.
Yes.
So, but all right. So let's wrap this up.
Absolutely.
What would your word of advice be to a prospective client? You know, maybe someone who's trying to get into the dog world. Let's start first. What would your recommendation be as far as a client looking for a dog trainer? Besides just coming to us and having us do it
I
for
would
them.
say that's an obvious, but honestly, look for someone who's going to give you the information. Don't worry about feeling or looking stupid. At the end of the day, you have a dog, you have this pet you want to care for. Look for someone who's going to provide that information without wanting whatever's in your pocketbook first.
Right.
You know, you have to understand that, you know, these dog trainers, there's all of them all over the place. There's different versions of training, and not everybody thinks that everybody else is right. So it's probably gonna take a while.
Yeah.
Do your research, but do not be afraid to ask the questions that are important to you on how you feel about things. And just go from there.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
It's just asking the questions. Like I said, when I called you,
ask the hard questions.
Yeah, I had questions already lined up.
Yeah.
On how I live my life and how I want to.
And how is that trainer going to be instrumental in your development with your dog over the time that, because if it's a puppy, you're going to have a dog for 10 to 15 years.
Yep.
Right? If you have a middle-aged dog, you're going to have a dog, you're going to have the dog for another 10 years. If your dog's a senior dog like Leo is, at 9, you might have him for potentially another 4 to 5 years.
Yep.
But that's still an extended amount of time where shit can happen.
Yep.
So is that trainer going to be with you through the whole process?
Absolutely.
Or is it just going to be, once off
important.
saying, bye?
What happens at the end of this, training session? Do I still have you in my corner, or are you just going to wash your hands of me and be like, okay, best of luck?
Or am I going to have to keep shelling out money for your assistance?
Yep.
Which is another thing.
Yeah, it needs to be balanced. It's teamwork, even with our clients.
Yeah.
That's just the best way to see it. I mean, make sure that they're willing to work with you, that, it is a balanced effort. There's teamwork. It's positive, and you just get a good vibe off of them.
You got to have fun. If you're not having fun, then it's not worth it.
Exactly.
So someone that wants to break into the dog industry, which obviously when you first met us, you had no intention of breaking into the dog industry as, a person working in the dog industry. What would your recommendation be for someone who wanted to?
Well, side note, I never went to a school.
Right. Neither have any of our trainers currently.
Correct.
Well, they went to vet school.
Yes, there's 2 of them.
They're vet techs.
Yeah. But honestly, if it's something that you're interested in, find a place that you can take a dog and, like I did, Modern Canine. I just started.
You basically paid for a mentorship for a year before you got brought in.
Definitely did. That's exactly what I did. And I learned all the aspects that I could. My dog does all the things.
Right.
And if it's something that you're interested in, shoot for the stars, man.
Right. So find mentor, apprenticeship, potentially a school, get a dog and learn.
Yeah.
Pay for.
I mean, social media is huge.
Yeah, but there's so much misinformation on social media.
And right, there is. But with that, you also have the big dog trainers that are out there.
Yeah, and if you could find one that you align fundamentally with that you could potentially. But even some of the big dog trainers, they gatekeep so much information.
You have to pay for it.
Yeah. So it just all depends on the route you want to go, in my opinion, right? I think the best route is what our trainers are doing now, is going through a mentorship program.
The internship program. Yes. Mentorship is actually the best way to go.
Right.
If you can find it. You're the only one that I know that does it.
Well, right, because everybody here, they want you to go through Kennelwood or the ABC school over.
I didn't know that was a thing until you did it.
What?
An internship. Oh. No, the school, that's why I never did it. I was in love with dogs since day one.
Right.
I wanted to do all the dog
Well,
things.
and we've hired trainers that have gone through school, and I'm sorry, but our interns that have been doing this for a few months freaking blow those dudes out of the water.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, they know the knowledge. They have the skills on the leash. They have multiple dogs versus a lot of the students that are coming out have no dog experience.
Yeah.
They have a lot of book knowledge.
But these guys, man, they have their hands on actual dogs.
20 to 30 of them in a day.
Yes. This team is rocking it.
Yeah.
And they are constantly, every time there's some sort of new thing, it's a teaching moment.
I feel like we need to set up a camera and just commentate all day long what they're learning.
Dude.
Kind of like the Blues game.
Yes. They would think that was funny.
Right.
Just
And here comes the bite, and she thought that she was going to dodge it, but she didn't. So.
They're so much fun. But honestly, a mentorship, you were the only one that I've ever seen do anything like that in this area.
Yeah.
And I've been living here a majority of my life.
Right.
And I have checked out multiple different trainers and facilities and all the things because I'm the crazy one that wants all the big dog breeds.
Right.
And it's the first time I've ever seen anybody go, hey, who wants an internship?
Right.
I'm here.
I'm going to pay you to come learn how to train dogs.
Yes. And this team eats it up, man. They love it. I mean,
sure.
A kennel tech to a trainer, vet techs to trainers, interns. I mean, a stay-at-home mom, vet tech stay-at-home mom to
a treat maker.
Yeah, a treat maker.
She was making treats.
She was making treats. And now she's an awesome dog trainer.
So what do you have last to close us out with? What can you leave us?
What can I leave you? I don't know.
Come to Modern Canine Solutions. Get your dog trained.
I mean, come have fun.
Absolutely. I think
It's a blast.
Yeah.
Everything that private lessons, group lessons, board and train, the go homes are fun.
Right.
We're silly. We're normal people that don't. I mean, we're gonna make it awkward, but
dog people are awkward.
we're so awkward. But just come have fun.
Yeah.
Do better for your dog.
For sure.
It's the opportunity is there. If you have issues, come hang out with us and let's see how we can fix it.